Swamin Namaste Natalokabandho Karunya Sindho Patitam Bhavabdhau Mamuddharatmiya Kataksha Drishtya Rijvyati Karunya Sudhabhivrishya Swamin Namaste Swamin Namaste Swamin Namaste Swamin Namaste Atah param brahma sadadvitiyam Vishuddha Vijnana Ghanam Niranjanam Prashantamadhyanta Vihinamakhriyam Nirantaranandarasaswarupam Nirastamaya Krita Sarva Bhedam Nityam Sukham Nishkalam Aprameyam Arupam Avyaktam Anakhyam Avyayam Jyoti Swayam Kinchididam Chakasti Nityam Vibhum Sarvagatam Susukshmam Antarvahishunyam Ananyamatmanaha Vidyaya Samyak Nijarupamentat Puman Vipapma Virajo Vimrityuho Vishokamananda Ghano Vipaschit Swayam Kutaschinna Bibheti Kaschit Nanyosti Pantha Bhavabandha Muktehe Vinasvatatmagamam mumukshoh Nanyosti Pantha Bhavabandha Muktehe Vinasvatatmagamam mumukshoh. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru. These two slokas from Vivekachoodamani. It is telling the attributes and the characteristics of Atma and Brahman. And in the last line it says, last stanza, Vishoka Ananda Ghano Vipaschit Swayam Kutaschinna Vibheti Kaschit Nanyosti Pantha Bhavabandha Muktehe Vina Swatattvagamam Mumukshoho. Illumined himself, he is afraid of none. He's talking about the self-realized person. For a seeker after liberation, now, for a seeker after liberation, there is no other way to the breaking of the bonds of the heart, that is the shackles of mind and intelligence. There is no other way than the realization of the truth of one's own self. If we want to break the shackles of our mind and intelligence, because of which we suffer, he says, Nanyosti Pantha, there is no other way than to realize one's own self and the true self. So this Vivekachoodamani, actually Swamiji is taking selected verses, and those are the, I think, the cream of the slokas. 580 slokas are there. It's very beautiful. And some of these slokas are telling about the Atma, the Brahman, the descriptions, and also the description of the self-realized Jivan Mukta, where Swamiji was telling, he has started taking that section. So for us, in my class, I took this because Nanyosti Pantha, to break these shackles of the mind, to get freedom from the shackles of the mind and intelligence, we have to realize our own self. But whether we will realize it, we do not know. What it is to realize, we do not know. But we can start with all the messages, all the advices the gurus and the shastras are giving us, that is, purify the mind. And the sadhana chatushtaya, that have viveka, have vairagya, have the shamadamadi shatka sampatti, the qualities, 6 qualities, and mumuksha. And I would tell you to always remember that we have to practice this, and very, very consciously practice, lovingly practice, and every day we should see and analyze whether we have grown at least a little bit, where we have failed, where we have succeeded. And in doing so, what will happen is that we start loving this process. Otherwise, it's not like I want to eat a good food, I go and get the food or cook the food and eat, and we feel satisfied. It's not like that. There's no reward, no award. We cannot even see what is happening. So, what is abstract, absolutely abstract, how to grow love for that? Only when we start dealing with our own mind and purify it, we see that these are the attributes or these are the traits in my mind which is absolutely opposed to the self. The self, the characteristics are like this. Like Swamiji was taking one verse today, Durjana, something like that, no? Anyway, whatever he was taking, that even if the bad people, they insult you, or even if you are praised by somebody, the Jivan Mukta will have no affectation. So, am I doing it? Am I also like it? Maybe I'm not now, but I find that slowly, because I'm loving that quality, slowly I find that yes, I am successful in many of the situations. And that success will come, you will find, very frequently it will start happening. That is, the gap between failures will reduce slowly. And you will find that you are able to be unaffected in most situations. So that is why, because I have always felt this whole practice of spirituality or the pursuit of spirituality, always for me it has been an adventure, a very loving adventure. You are dealing with your own self. You are understanding how you are molding yourself, how you are sometimes failing, sometimes succeeding, and what for, what is the reason, how to go beyond it. That is, we are not dealing with anything else. We are dealing only with ourselves. So it becomes very interesting if you consider it to be an adventure. And that way the love grows, the love will grow. So we come back to our discussions, and the discussion is actually cultivating of Vairagya. Now I have taken some shlokas from Vairagya Shatakam. There are many shlokas. Initially in the first lecture, I said that he has divided the 100 verses into 10 groups, and I am trying to take from most of the groups. Some I have taken, some I have not. But actually, in a sense, in Vairagya Shatakam, Bhartrihari is trying to show the transitoriness of the world, how we are not aware of what the life is, but we should be aware, and we should see what are the transitory factors in this life which give us suffering, misery, afflictions. And in all the poems, what he is doing is he is helping us to do the vichara of our own life, of our own mind, which we are not doing ourselves. So it's an aid to us. So now I come, till yesterday I was telling you what is desire, the transitoriness of this desire, that the desires will all fall off, nothing remains, and we are not happy. Also, it also told us that how the desires and the enjoyments, they only enjoy us. They make us corroded, and we do not get anything out of it. And the desires, they become more and more as if we are pouring ghee into fire. It says in one of the shlokas that the hairs will become grey, the skin will become wrinkled, and you will be not able to even get up from your seat without the help of a stick. So many things will happen. Your friends would have, many of them would have died, and people will not respect you as they were doing. But still, even when you are in that condition, very old, people still feel that they should live. They do not want to, they feel that, no, they do not want the death to come. And sometimes it so happens that you have become so old and suffering for such a long time, even the relatives feel that we are not able to look after anymore. The wife also becomes tired. The children also becomes tired. And they look at you, don't give whatever consideration should be given. Still, one likes to live. And it's like the examples are given as like I don't know whether you have seen, I have seen such a scene. You know, the snake, when it catches a frog, and the frog is about to die, it is going to be gulped by the snake. At that time, from the front of the frog, a fly is flying, an insect is flying. In that state, when the frog is about to die, it will take out its tongue and eat the insect. I have seen that kind of a scene. So the example is given like that human beings are like that. Even when you are in this terrible condition, you still feel that I should enjoy this or enjoy that. So all these have been discussed. I'm leaving many of the shlokas because it's very repetitive. It will not be, and there is also a fear whether you will start feeling bored, that constantly we are being talked about all these Vairagya. Now, there is one chapter which is called Bhogasthirya Varnanam, that is instability of enjoyments. How we are not, since we are not thinking about it, we miss it, that we enjoy. Yes, there are things to enjoy and we should enjoy. It's not that we should not enjoy. We should be enjoying, but as we told that what is a need and a desire and what is undue, we should leave that. So in this it says, in this vichara that Bhartrihari is doing for us, he's singing his songs. In that he says, in the shloka number 33, I'm not just saying the shloka, but the main line I will say. It says that health is destroyed by disease. It's to everybody it happens. As we grow, so many diseases come to us. We cannot escape that. Then property and acquisitions are subject to adversities. And always there will be anxiety about the property and acquisitions, whether it is fame, prestige, name, etc., or even wealth. And this anxiety makes one always feel very constricted in the mind, worried in a sense, and that is how they live. Whatever is born will have death. This we have discussed. Now the question is, he himself is asking, the question is, tat kim tena nirankushena vidhina yan nirmitam susthiram. He's saying that if that is the case, has not Creator made or created anything which is permanent. Everything is going, everything is flowing. Samsara is actually, we say samsara. Samsara means the word. Samsara, this Sanskrit is samsarati iti. That is, which is always moving. So, everything is moving, everything is changing. So, what is changeless in this? Is there anything changeless? See, I told you in the beginning that my quest started like that. When I was young, that everything I started finding that all joy, everything near and dear ones, there is no permanence in this world. Nothing remains. Every day we are feeling one thing is over and we look forward to something else. So what is permanent here? And that is how I wrote the letter to Baba. So he is saying that kim tena nirankushena vidhina yan nirmitam susthiram. Is there anything which the Creator has created which we can call as stable? What is that? Then in the sloka 35, he says all the enjoyments are like lightning. We enjoy and it is over. Some enjoyments will be for some more time, but it is always getting over. Life is as unsteady as a drop of water on the lotus leaf. Just imagine a lotus leaf, drop of waters are there. Then when we talk about asangata, we take this example, water on lotus leaf, because it does not wet the leaf. But here it is being taken as the example that you touch a little and the drop will fall off. So, as unsteady as the drop of water on the lotus leaf, we know that. Actually we know all this, we want to keep our eyes closed. Eyes closed. We are fearful, but we don't want to face that fear. Youthfulness is momentary. So what should be done? All this we know, but what should be done? Is there anything to be done? In Bhagavatam there is a sloka. It says, Labdva sudurlabhamidam bahu sambhavante manushyam arthadam anityam apiha dhiraha. It says that labdva sudurlabhamidam bahu sambhavante. After many janmas, you get a human body, manushyam. Then manushyam anityam, manusyam arthadam anityam apiha dhiraha. And in this manushya janma, in the human life, there are purusharthas to be obtained. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So through this body. Yes. So this we have to have these purusharthas, attain them. Now, with this human life only we can do that. Unless the body is there, and body God has given us mind and intelligence to think. So we know that having had the manushya janma, the human life, we have to acquire these purusharthas. Although the body is anitya, the body is anitya, transitory. It will not stay. It is impermanent. It is changeful. So as long as the body is there, you have to attain whatever you have to attain. So it says, the dhiraha means the wise people, those who are given to introspection. What they do, turnam yateta. Turnam means immediately, knowing that there is such a thing which we can attain. Turnam yatetana pated anumrityu yavat nishreyasaya vishaya khalu sarvatasyat. It says that there is a nishreyasa. What is nishreyasa? One is, in this world, there are happinesses or delights which are preyaha, that is, it is short-lived and it will be over. And what is shreyaha? Shreyaha is which is ultimate happiness. Nishreyasa is the supreme happiness, supreme bliss. So, nishreyasaya, if you have this supreme bliss, naturally, even if you are in the midst of all kinds of adversities, you will not be affected. So the dhiraha, the wise people, knowing that such a thing exists which we can attain, and we have been given a human body by the grace of God, what they do, they understand that this human body, I don't know how long it will live, so I must, as soon as I have learned that there is a path to pursue, an auspicious path to pursue, turnam yateta. That is, you immediately pursue it. Immediately pursue it. Don't think like this mandabuddhis. They'll say that, oh, there is a lot of time, I will do it later. So, turnam yateta. Why? Na pated anumrityu yavat. Because mrityu is going behind you. When it will catch you like this, like the crocodile, you don't know. So, as soon as if you are a wise person, if you have intelligence, you must pursue this path and pursue for nishreyasa. So, this we should do. So, what should be done? Now, in Vairagya Shatakam, he is saying, if you are wise, engage your mind in equanimity, attained easily by patience. Patience, one must have patience, because we will pursue and you will feel that, oh, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. I am trying so much, but my anger is not going. I am trying so much, my attachment is not going. I am trying so much, but I feel that I feel very unhappy when something which I don't like, I get. So, patience is very necessary. Patience is necessary, effort is necessary, hard work is necessary, and you cannot say that why it is necessary. You are all educated, you know that from class 1 to class 12, also we have studied so much. After that, some will become doctors, some engineers, some will become a lawyer, some will become a businessman. For everything, we have made effort, we have done hard work to get promotions in our professions. We have to have hard work. Even to run a family, even if a woman is just a homemaker, she has to work very hard to make everybody happy and a very harmonious, happy family. So effort, hard work and love for that pursuit is necessary. We do hard work or we do make an effort when we love the aim for which we are working. So he says that if you are wise, that is if you are dhiraha, engage your mind in equanimity. Equanimity. Accept and reconcile. Also have reliance. Whatever comes, let it come. And whatever goes, let it go. Go beyond likes and dislikes. And attain it with patience. In order to cross over this fearful ocean of samsara, attach yourself to Brahman. That is, attach yourself to Brahman. That is, more and more you start thinking about the Brahmic qualities. You understand? The gain that will be if we can remain steadily in these thoughts. What is the gain? Yam labdhva chaparam labham manyate nadhikam tataha yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. That one shloka in Bhagavad Gita. Gaining which will consider nothing else to be superior than that gain. Contented we are. We won't look for anything else. Now we are constantly looking for something. And yasmin sthito na dukkhena. Remaining in which state, even if the greatest adversity befall us, we will not be affected. I think all of us want only that. We don't want to be affected by the happenings of the world, happenings of our life. And we want to be happy and fearless. So, says that, so attach yourself to the thoughts of Brahman instead of the ephemeral world. Okay, now you think, in a day, leave aside the time for sleeping, leave aside the time for taking bath, taking food and your profession. Rest of the time, how much we are thinking of these spiritual things, how much you are thinking of your family or anything. Like when I'm coming for the last 2 days, I find everybody talking. At least this much that the teacher has come, you keep quiet. That much also you are not doing. So much of lack of restraint is there. So when you go out, we can understand what kind of restraint you will have. Is it not so? You know, there is in spirituality is a sannikarsha doshaha. You know what sannikarsha doshaha? The first, initially when the retreat started, everybody was like this, feeling that we should not make any mistake. Now as days have passed, everybody has got relaxed. So sannikarsha dosha, that is, you come to know each other and then there is a little relaxation. So, but I don't dislike you by saying that you have talked. Now, I will just tell one story. I think it's very natural. When we were studying MSc, you know, and I studied in Delhi University. So in those days, D.S. Kothari was there, UGC chairman. He used to take honorary class for us. So he would come. So one day in his class, we used to sit in a gallery, and that was that room also for projection. So all the windows and everything was covered with black paper. So he used to always close the door, and so he was taking the class. Suddenly the power failed, and the boys made a sound. Very big sound. In those days, boys and girls used to sit separately. So we thought that, they will get a lot of scolding. So we were feeling, with bated breath. We are thinking, he's such a big person. So after some time, the door opened slightly. He went and opened the door and opened it, light came in, and we were all looking at his face. He came back, stood, a very big table. He stood, looked at us and said, looked at the boys and said, if you had not made that sound, I would have thought you are not human beings. And took his chalk and started writing the equations again. So like that. So I also thought that I don't want you to become like this. So it says, Yoge Dhairya Samadhi Siddha Sulabhe Buddhim Vidadhvam Buddhaha. So Buddhaha, those who are wise, Yoge Dhairya Samadhi Siddha Sulabhe Buddhim Vidadhvam Buddha. Engage your mind on Brahman itself instead of the ephemeral world. And with what? With patience and equanimity. Then the 36th shloka says, lovingly attach your mind to Brahman to overcome the fear of crossing the ocean of cycles of birth and death. Brahmanyasakta chitta bhavata bhavabhayam bodhi param taritum. These are the last lines. I am not taking the full shloka. So, Brahmani asakta dhiya, asakta chitta. That is, these words you can remember. Brahmani asakta chitta. Our chittas are asakta to what? To the world and family. Like in the first shloka that we chanted, what it is saying? Pashyanisham jagadidam shanabhanga nishtam. Your nishtha is towards what? Towards this world, which is constantly changing. Instead of that, Vairagya rasiko bhava bhakti nishtha. Instead of having your nishtha, your focus on the worldly objects or world, you change your nishtha to Vairagya or bhakti. So similarly it is saying that be Brahmani asakta chitta. That slowly let your ruchi, your liking, your love becomes the thought of Brahman. How will you do it? How will you do it? It is just by habit. Whenever you get time, start thinking, start reciting one or two slokas, understanding the meaning, thinking very deeply the meaning of the words, and then you will find that slowly you are getting a joy. You may not be able to chant in the manner in which it is being chanted here. Have your own tune, but the meaning should be rotating in the mind. That is very important. Then in 39th sloka it says, "For what are you running about so much? What is the use of acquiring objects of enjoyment? If you have faith in our words," who is saying this? Bhartrihari is saying. He has realized, he has written all this Shataka, and he is saying that, my dear men, why are you running about? What are you acquiring? Every day, the day comes and the day sets into night. And next day you get up again and do the same things over and over again. The same work over and over again. Enjoyments also, same thing. Because the senses are only 5. You can have only five kinds of enjoyments. And all these 5 enjoyments will give you only 2 things, either sukha or dukkha. Not more than that. But like chewing the cud, you do the same thing again and again, again and again, again and again. Once it is over, again you will look forward to something. When there will be one festival or one wedding where everybody will come. So, it says that it is happening like this, but still we are not ashamed. We are not ashamed of ourselves. That, what is this? What are we doing? You know, in Vasistha Ramayana, Rama, when he went for this pilgrimage before his coronation, he came back and he had Vairagya. He was not coming out of his room, not prostrating at the elders, simply not taking food. So he was called, and then this Yoga Vasistha Ramayana started. Because when he was asked, he told that I went around in the pilgrimage and I saw that there is no sukha anywhere. He said that everybody is full of desire and they are doing so many varieties of activities, but every action has difficulty. He says that I don't find any person good whom I can call that he is a good person. Even in my dream, I cannot find a good person. So like that he said how people are enamored of wealth, enamored of beauty, enamored of many things, property, so many things he has said. And then he says that every day I am getting up and doing the same thing, getting up and doing the same thing. Why? Is there any higher purpose of life? See, many of you will be doing the regular worship in your house or going to temples regularly, giving pradakshina, chanting some stotras every day, or reading Bhagavad Gita fully. Some will do 2 chapters or 3 chapters every day. So these are all very good disciplines. But the question should come, is there anything more than this? Is there anything higher than this? Should we always remain in this state, or is there anything more? Because in doing so, whatever I am doing as a discipline, as an austerity, I am not getting rid of fear. I am not getting rid of anxiety. I am not getting rid of expectations. I am completely surrounded by these things. Fear of death and the expectations, the desires. It doesn't leave me. So, what else can I do so that I will be able to cross this? That is called crossing the worldly ocean. We are now in worldliness. How to cross the worldly ocean? So, he says that, why are you running so much? What is the use of acquiring objects of enjoyment? If you have faith in our words, that is what we should have. In Vivekachoodamani it says, Shastreshu Guru Vakyeshu Shraddha. Shraddha is that. You must have faith in the Shastras and the Guru. And you should not run here and there. Many will be talking spirituality. If you run here and there, then there is confusion. Because each person will be talking in his or her own manner. So sometimes confusion may take place. So that you have to be taking care of, that you don't get confused. But you must hear this. So it says, have faith in our words, and then with great love, sublimating all desires and expectations, devote your mind exclusively, one-pointedly, being ananya cheta, to your true nature. What is the true nature? The Atma. We all know that the Atma is a changeless. The body is changeful. I am not the body. Real identity, real nature is Atma. And Atma's characteristics also we know. So, this is what he is saying. In many of the shlokas, he is actually pleading that please take away your mind from all these transitory enjoyments which are only short-lived, and take your mind to the thought of Brahman and dwell. Now, everybody in the world will say that we are very busy, very busy, very busy. We do not get time. I always say, there is one time when you are free and nobody can disturb you. That is when you are taking bath. Who will disturb you? When you are taking bath, when you are wearing your dress, nobody can disturb. But are we thinking of God? Are we thinking of the self or Brahman? No. Because we have got habituated to think of other things. So, if you have made this kind of a winding rope, now we have to rewind and make it loose. We have to make a habit, new habit of thinking. Whenever you remember, think. Whenever you remember, you find that your mind has gone. So, call it. I had asked Baba that the mind goes away and mind thinks of many things. A mind has so many traits which I am struggling to be rid of. So how to do it? Baba was in his last days, we had gone to see him. So he said, tell them, not like an enemy, like a friend you tell them that I don't want you anymore. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Suppose it is irritation, it is anger, it is jealousy, it is lethargy. Please tell them that I don't want you anymore, I don't like you anymore. You have been with me for a long time, now leave me alone, please. Not with a feeling of dislike. You will find that it will leave you very soon. So he is pleading that please engage your mind on the Brahman. Vivekachoodamani, there are very beautiful verses are there. It is Vivekachoodamani 274. Antashritananta duranta vasana dhuli vilipta paramatma vasana pradyati sangharshanato vishuddha pratiyate chandana gandhavat sputam. 274. Antashritananta duranta vasana dhuli vilipta paramatma vasana pradyati sangharshanato vishuddha pratiyate chandana gandhavat sputam. It says, the mind is embedded and covered with dust of endless, very strong vasanas, desires, virulent desires. Antashrita, it is embedded in the mind. Ananta, ananta means endless. Duranta vasana, virulent. And dhuli vilipta, they are as if covered with dust. Dhuli vilipta. Now, Paramatma Vasana. Ananta Duranta Vasana, Dhuli Vilipta will come with the second line. Dhuli Vilipta Paramatma Vasana. So these desires which are there in the mind, that like a dust is covering the Paramatma Vasana. If you are wanting to dwell on the thought of God or Brahman, these other desires, it's covering it up. Like dust will say there is a mirror. If we look into the mirror, is very polished, nicely cleaned, we'll be able to see our face. But if there is dust on the mirror, or suppose the polish at the back has got bad, we will not be able to see us. So here also, the mind which is covered, embedded with so much of desires, it is covering up the Paramatma Vasana. Pradyati sangharshanato vishuddha chandana gandhavat sputam pratiyate. So it says, like the sandalwood, if you have a sandalwood, we'll not get much of smell from that. But if we start rubbing it, what happens? Beautiful fragrance comes. Similarly, this dust of virulent desires which is embedded in the mind, which is covering up the Paramatma Vasana, if constantly and repeatedly we think of the Paramatma or Parabrahman, then by the constant friction of this knowledge that I am the self, and everything is Brahman, then what will happen? The fragrance of this Paramatma or Brahman will start radiating everywhere. Is it not a very good sloka? Very good sloka. Would you like to chant? Yes. It is 274. Antashritananta duranta vasana.
Antashritananta duranta vasana.
Dhuli vilipta paramatma vasana.
Dhuli vilipta paramatma vasana.
Pradyati sangharshanato vishuddha.
Pradyati sangharshanato vishuddha.
Pratiyate chandana gandhavat sputam.
Pratiyate chandana gandhavat sputam.
See, pragya ati sangharshanato. See, when the sandalwood is rubbed on any stone or anything, as we rub it comes the fragrance. Similarly, the knowledge, the prajna, the knowledge that I am the self, that knowledge has to be constantly rubbed in our mind. Ati sangharshanato. Ati means constantly, with lot of vigor. It has to be done. So that the mind becomes pure of the other desires. And the chandana gandhavat, the fragrance of the self will be radiating. Next, 276. Yatha yatha pratyagavasthitam manah tatha tatha munchati bhahya vasanam nishesha mokshe sati vasananam atmanubhuti pratibandha shunya. See, why I am taking this? In the previous sloka, Vairagya Shatakam 39, he says that listen to us, the wise ones, and engage your mind on Brahman by sublimating all your desires and expectations and devote the mind exclusively. So these are some certain shlokas from Vivekachoodamani which also strengthens what he says. And he says that, next one it is saying, Yatha yatha pratyagavasthitam manah tatha tatha munchati bhahya vasanam. Now the question is, to get into the habit of, or loving the habit of Brahman, dwelling on Brahman, that is to be done, or you first push away your worldly thoughts. This is what Shloka is saying. Understand? Some will think, no, I will not think of the world at all. That is not the way. That is not the way. The way is yatha yatha pratyagavasthitam manah tatha tatha munchati bakya vasanam. As the mind becomes gradually established in the inmost self, that is, like this sandalwood rubbing, think of Brahman, its attributes, and as it gradually gets established in the inmost self, proportionately the desire for the external objects will also fade out. Do you understand? Because in this, the fragrance of the self will completely, slowly, it will engulf you so much that all these worldly things which you give suffering, the thoughts of that will become insignificant, redundant. It will go. So, do this. As long as possible, try to think of the self. Some you will think yourself, some you can read, some you can listen, some you can talk to each other. Talk to each other. Macchitta madgata pranaha bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. This is from Bhagavad Gita. Macchitta. So, the chitta should be exclusively loving the thought of God or self. Madgata prana, that every activity which is done by the prana, everything is because of that presence, that feeling should be there. Bodhayanta parasparam. Now, when you talk to each other, talk about that. Talk about that, not other things. As far as possible. Sometimes we have to talk other things also. But as far as possible, leave aside the unnecessary talks and talk about this. Bodhayanta parasparam kathayantasya mam nityam. And about me, about the Supreme, about the Self, nityam, always talk. Talk with each other. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Then what happens? They feel sad, very, very pleased. They rejoice and they feel very happy. They become satisfied. Who? Those who have this macchitta, madgata prana, they talk to each other about the self. They do this. So, here also it is saying, yatha yatha pratyagavasthitam manah. As the mind becomes gradually established in the inmost self, it proportionately gives up the desires for external objects. And when all such desires have been eliminated, there takes place the unobstructed realization of the self. Now, what does this mean really? All desires have been eliminated. Does it happen? No, many desires will be there. Undue desires will not be there. Desire is what? Remember this. Desire, some desires will be there. Even if you don't do anything, the desire to eat, desire to take bath, desire to sleep will be there. Desire to go and talk to somebody will be there. What is that desire which is bad? The one that agitates you. One that makes you constricted. That desire is not good. That desire is only for your selfish gain, only for yourself and your family. Those desires are not good. If you desire for the entire humanity, then it is good. You understand? So, this says that Slowly, when all desires have been eliminated, there takes place the unobstructed realization of the self. That is, this undue desires, selfish desires, those will go. And you will get the unobstructed realization of the self. Swapratibandha shunya, unobstructed. Now what is happening? While you are in satsang, while you are chanting shlokas, Swamiji is taking such high shlokas, you are also going up, transported to some state. And then, when that is over, dhum. This is happening, no? This is like sitting on a springed mattress or a sofa with a spring. When you sit down very comfortably. And when you get up, again get up with a big bang. So what do we understand from this? Understand that we have to have moksha, vairagya, viveka. That viveka should always be with us to make us understand. Sometimes we'll forget, we'll give in to the short-lived pleasures. Then viveka should come and tell us that, okay, you are enjoying this, it's okay, do it. But don't think that this is what will give you happiness all the time. So, and then vairagya has to be there. Because unless you become, you understand that other things will not give you pleasure, that is the vairagya. And unless you remove desires, possessiveness, ego from your mind, then you cannot do this. You cannot love to think like this. Then, Bhakye niruddhe manasa prasannata. This is 335 of Vivekachoodamani. Bhakye niruddhe manasa prasannata.
Bahye niruddhe.
Bahye niruddhe manasa prasannata.
Bahye niruddhe manasa prasannata.
Manaprasade paramatma darshanam.
Manaprasade paramatma darshanam.
Tasmin sudrishte bhavabandhanasho.
Tasmin sudrishte bhavabandhanasho.
Bahirnirodha padavi vimukte.
Bahirnirodha padavi vimukte.
Bahye niruddhe manasa prasannata.
Bahye niruddhe manasa prasannata.
Manaprasade paramatma darshanam.
Manaprasade paramatma darshanam.
Tasmin sudrishte bhavabandhanasho.
Tasmin sudrishte bhavabandhanasho.
Bahirnirodha padavi vimukte.
Bahirnirodha padavi vimukte.
Bahye niruddhe manasa prasannata. That is, bahya means outside. So, we are saying that the worldly objects, it brings about disturbances and agitations. And when we start thinking about the Atma or the Self, slowly they will proportionately go. So when those go, what will happen? When the outside factors which disturbs our mind, slowly they die down, their effects are not that much. What will happen? Manasa prasannata. Manasa prasannata. Why are we agitated? Why are we disturbed? Why are we sad? Why are we having a feeling of insufficiency, lack, undecided? Why? Because our mind is not prasanna, mind is not calm. And because of desires, the mind has to become calm. Just like a vessel of water, clean water is there. We keep a pebble, we look, we can see the pebble very clearly. Suppose we put some dirt into that muddy water, we won't be able to see the pebble. Or we just give some ripples in that water, that also will not make us see the pebble clearly. So, I am the self. I am truly the self. I am mistakenly identified with this changeful body, with mind, intelligence and ego. Mistakenly. And I think this is the I, the limited I. With my name, form, qualifications, house, this, that, possessions. This is the I. And this I is the changeful I. It changes. The mind changes, the body changes first of all. We know that the mind also changes. What the mind was when we were young, when we become youth, then the mind has grown a lot. It becomes more mature when it grows further. Similarly, the buddhi also has gone through so much changes. So these are all changing. And ultimately the body will drop also. What is not getting distracted, what is that? That is the soul, the self. So, I am that only, I am that real self. Why is it that I am not understanding it? Because of the desires. The desires are that dhuli vilupta paramatma vasana. It has like the dust, it has covered us or given us so much of agitation in the mind that the self, though it is there, we are not able to see it. Like a jewel, it is there. But if we look inside, we are not able to see because there is so much of ripples and waves of desire. So, for the self to be it is a swaprakasha, self-effulgent it is. But the light is not coming to us because of this cloud. So how will it be if the mind becomes absolutely pure and calm? Mind has to become pure and calm. How will it become pure? By removing the desires, ego, possessiveness. Then only it will become calm. Just like say, there is a log of food, we have lighted it, fire is burning. When the whole log gets burnt off, we cannot light it anymore. Why? Because the log was the fuel. It has gone. So when the fuel is over, the light cannot be there. Flame cannot be there. So we say that the fire has got extinguished. It cannot become a fire again from that object. Similarly, when the desire becomes extinguished, the mind becomes absolutely calm. Samyak alokanat satyat vasana praviliyate vasana vilaye chetaha shamyatyasneha deepavat. Samyak alokanat satyat. When you understand the satya, the truth, that I am the self, vasana praviliyate, and the desires have completely died down. Then vasana vilaye chetaha, and once the vasanas completely goes away from the mind, then shamyatyasneha deepavat. Then the soul, it becomes a sneha deepavat. Because in a lamp, there has to be a vessel containing oil, a wick, then only it can burn, like a lamp. And here, when in the lamp, the oil is over, then what happens? The lamp will be extinguished. So the oil is over. So when vasana goes completely annihilated, then what happens? The mind is without any fuel to make it agitated. It becomes calm. So then shamyati means it becomes cool. Just like asneha. Sneha means oil. Asneha means without oil. Deepavat. Deepa is a lamp. So like a lamp which does not have oil, like that, how that will get extinguished, the mind becomes calm when vasana has completely got annihilated. So here, bhakye niruddhe manasa prasannata. So when the outside things are not disturbing us anymore, then what will happen? Manasa prasannata. The mind will be constantly contented and joyful. It will rejoice in oneself. And manaprasade paramatma darshanam. When the mind will be prasanna, calm, then paramatma darshanam. You will be realizing self. Tasmin sudrishti. When you realize the self, then bhavabandhanasho. What will happen? You will be knowing that there is no birth and death. Soul is always there, eternal. And bahir, so hence bahir nirodhaha padavi vimuktehe. So the shutting out of the external world is the stepping stone to liberation. Shutting out of external world means try to get rid of the undue worldliness. Undue worldliness. This undue word is very important. Very, very important. Remaining in the world, we have to do many kinds of activities. But we have to we have to understand by our intelligence what we are doing, where we are crossing, what is undue and what is needed. So, how will the intelligence become sharp? Intelligence also becomes sharp. The mind becomes sharp by constant dealing with the Brahman and self. Because as you start loving the attributes of the self, this sharpness of the intelligence will start growing. It's all, iterative. This will help this one, that will help this one. So, what is said? Swamiji says sometimes that if a person is going after gold, I am saying that I'll give you a whole universe of gold, but they are not ready to take it. So that is how human beings are, not ready to take. They are very happy with 2 grams of gold only. So then, in the 40th verse, I did some Vivekachoodamani shlokas. Then in the 40th shloka, so Bhartrihari is saying, so, O pure one, bho sadhu, shanabhangure taditare bhoge rati ma krithaha. This is the last line. O pure one, indulge not in any pleasure that lasts no more than a moment. So, understand that the pleasures are shanabhanguram. They don't last, like Nachiketa said, that shobhava martasya yadantakaita sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha ati sarvam jivitam alpameva tavaiva vahas tava nritya gite. So we should tell our life that you have done enough, we have danced enough in your tune, so I want to be a little more towards this path, towards this pursuit, and you know what? Lead a spiritual life. In a sense, how will you lead a spiritual life? Remaining in the house also, constantly dealing with these thoughts. It's not that you worship. Worship is a primary stage. Now to go into the spiritual stage, you have to take to vichara, viveka, vairagya, shamatamadi and mumuksha. Then only you will be able to lift yourself from worship to spirituality. And that is necessary. Now, why is it that the householders are unable to cultivate vairagya? Now I've got not even 1.5 days. One more day and half an hour today. So now I want to discuss this. Enough of vairagya we have discussed. And the question is how to get vairagya. Is it not? How to get vairagya, Baba? Now, first of all, let us see why the householders are not able to get vairagya. Are you interested in knowing that? So, I always feel that Upanishads, they give some kind of jnana to us, very high concepts. Then Bhagavad Gita is a little towards our life. And Bhagavatam, it gives lot of danda, lot of beating to everybody. If you read in many of this, you will find that so harshly Bhagavatam tells you. And Bhagavatam really deals with, it's a Paramahamsa Samhita. It's not everybody feels it's a devotional text. But it is a Paramahamsa Samhita. And it says, Yat Shrinvan Vipathan Vicharana Paro Bhaktya Vimuchye Naraha. This is what is the last one sloka at the end. It says, Yat Shrinvan, you have to listen. Vipathan, you have to read. Vicharana Paraha. What is Vicharana Paraha? Introspection. Bhaktya, and with bhakti you should do this. Bhakti means what? Loving. Bhakti is not that bhakti where you become ecstatic. What is bhakti? Bhakti is what is bhakti you must understand. In Vedanta, in Vivekachoodamani and all, bhakti is swaswarupānusandhānam bhaktiritya vidhīyate. Swaswarupānusandhānam. That is, when your quest is to know your own self. That anusandhana, that quest, that search, that seeking is for swaswarupa, your own real self. That is called bhakti. That is, whatever you do, you never forget that I am the self. And I must realize the self. I must do everything which will be an extension of my knowing that I am the self. Tattvam adhyatmikam drishtva, tattvam drishtva tu bahyataha, tatvibhutaha tadaramaha, tattvat apratyuto bhavet. This is from Mandukya Karika. What is said? Tattvam adhyatmikam drishtva. That is, I know the knowledge that I am the self. Within me is the self. And the self is changeless, eternal, imperishable, all-pervading, all this. Tattvam drishtva tu bahyataha. The same self is everywhere pervading. There is no differentiation that I am this self and you are this self and he is this self and he is there. There is no different selves. There is only one self and that is everywhere. Inside me, outside me, this side, that side, up, everywhere. Then, tatvibhutaha, you become immersed in that, you become that. What is that, become that? Become that means that knowledge, you then behave like that. A girl gets married to a boy, so they are husband and wife. Then their behavior should be like husband and wife. And that is what they do. That is what happens. So, when you are a seeker, your behavior should be like a seeker. When you have known this fact, this knowledge, your behavior should be like that. So, tatvibhutaha, all your actions, all your thoughts, it cannot be different. You cannot be something, thinking something and doing something else. So tatvi bhutaha, you become that, tadaramaha, that gives you pleasure. You become, all your pleasure you derive from that tattva alone, tadaramaha. Tattvat aprachyuto bhavet. This is the most important line. From that tattva, from that knowledge, never fall down. Do you get it? What is happening generally? We are listening, and falling down. Again we come and listen. Again we go up. Again we fall down. That's okay. I'm telling you, that is how every seeker has to go. But that love for that should be there. Love for that. Every seeker has to go through such such periods of, sometimes you will feel very inspired, sometimes not. But what every seeker has to have is the sincerity to pursue, the one-pointedness wish to pursue. Even if suppose you find that, oh, I had lot of yearning earlier, now it has reduced a little, I think, then cry to nature that why it has become like this. I want to pursue. People cry for so many things. People cry for wealth, for children, for house, for car. People don't cry for gaining the knowledge. You have to cry. So, why are the householders unable to cultivate Vairagya? It says in Bhagavatam, no, I did not finish that sloka. What was that? Yat Shrinvan Vipathan Vicharana Paro Bhaktya. I was saying Bhaktya, then I went deviated. So Bhaktya, what is Bhakti in Vedanta, I said. And what is Bhakti in Bhakti Shastra? You must have Bhakti, Ahaituki and Apratihata. What is Ahaituki? Without any motive. Do not ask anything from God. And we are always asking from God. We give puja and say that let my family be all right. Let my daughter be married. And we don't go and give puja for some neighbor or somebody else. We give puja for ourselves only. Ahaituki. No motive, no reason. Because I love you, so I love you. And apratihata is, if anything adverse happens in your life, your bhakti should not diminish. And there is another thing. You must have the qualities of a bhakta. We all feel we are bhaktas, but we don't know what are the qualities of a bhakta. We feel we are bhaktas as if we are favoring God. What does God want of us? We have to know that. Read the books. Read the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Read the Bhagavatam. What God wants of us, what qualities. So that is why I said, this is a great adventure. If you really feel that you want to improve, you want to become pure, you want to at least become free in the mind, expand, then we will pursue these qualities. That is the first step. Pursue the qualities. You see, this is all same. What is that? Yani eva sthitapratyasya lakshanani tani eva sadhanani. Here also, if you want to become a bhakta, which we always think from childhood that we are bhaktas, because we go to the temples, because we light a lamp, because we do arati, because we chant some shlokas, we feel we are bhaktas. And we have been told also like that. Not always our fault. Our parents also think like that. We also think like that. Nobody says that you must get the qualities of a bhakta. And what is the first quality in 12th chapter? Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. So everybody is a bhakta. Is it not? Can anybody raise their hand saying that you have this quality, adveshta sarva bhutanam? No. So, it's very nice to get these qualities, Very, very interesting. Not only interesting, it gives a lot of bliss. Bliss to think that these qualities can be had. And I tell you, it can be had. So, okay. So in Bhagavatam, in the seventh skandha, Yudhishthira is being told by Narada. Yudhishthira asks him about the different ashramas. So he talks about the Brahmacharya ashrama, then Garhasthya, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. So there he gives some messages to Yudhishthira. And in Prahlada episode, Prahlada tells his classmates, see, he was so young, 7 years old. He used to tell his classmates that, come. Whenever the teachers would go out, come. They are not teaching us the right things. I will tell you. And he would say that it is absolutely necessary that from childhood we start worshipping God. And who is he? There is no difficulty in worshipping him, because he is like the sky and he is inside us. So where is the difficulty? He is so near us. He is our friend, our well-wisher. He is everything. And he also said that what does people gain? What will we gain by having a wife, children, house, property, elephants, horses, treasury, money? What will we gain? Because everything is shanabhangra ayushaha. Everything's, the lifespan is very little. So how people get any happiness from that? So he's saying all these things to his small classmates. And he also says that it is very difficult to get out of this I-ness and mine-ness which bind human beings. That is why they are worldly. They cannot free themselves from the clutches of mamata. So he says that how this I and mine-ness affect the householders. Their senses are not controlled. They are attached to household affairs, enslaved by the senses, bound by strong rope of fondness and affection. They are unable to liberate themselves. And how will they free themselves? The loving company of husband and wife, their sweet loving words to each other, the affection of brothers and sisters, the lisping words of little children, their soft and gentle touch, they are bound by all this. Is it not true? Then, constant thoughts about daughters who have gone to their in-laws' house. Imagine, Bhagavatam is writing this. Constant thoughts about daughters who have gone to their in-laws' house. Why should they think that is what is happening now? The daughters are having children and mothers are going and babysitting the children. Then sons, brothers, sisters, old parents, a house decorated with beautiful precious things, means of livelihood, servants, all these torment their mind with anxiety and fear. And is that they always worry what their old parents will do without them, and how their wife will bring up the little children all alone if he dies. So these are the thoughts. And being attached to the maintenance of the family, they spend their entire life in delusion. But they do nothing to achieve the main objective of life for themselves. They spend their life only looking after the family. See, there is a very good sloka in Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangrahah. Shraddha bhaktimatim satim gunavatim putran shrutan sammatan akshayam vasudhanya bhoga vibhavaihi Shri Sundaram Mandiram Sarvam Nashvara Mityavetya Kavayaha Shrutyuktiviryuktivihi Sanyasyanta Paretu Tatsukhamiti Bhramyanti Dukkharnave Shraddha Bhaktimatim Satim Gunavatim Putran Shrutan Sammatan Akshayam Vasudhanya Bhoga Vibhavaihi Shri Sundaram Mandiram Sarvam Nashvaramittyavetya Kavayaha Shrutyuktiviryuktivihi Sanyasyanta Paretu Tatsukhamiti Bhramyanti Dukkharnave. It says, one has a virtuous wife. Shraddha Bhakti Matim. The wife has Shraddha and Bhakti. Looks after the household very well, looks after guests very well, elders very well. Satim, Gunavatim. And Putran Shrutan Sammatan. And the children, especially the sons, they are writing, good and well educated. Then Akshayam Vasudhanya Bhoga Vivaihi. Akshayam is what? Which? Unending. So a lot of wealth he has. And Shri Sundaram Mandiram. Very beautiful house. Decorated with so many furniture, so many things. Very beautifully decorated house. Which he is calling Shri Sundaram Mandiram. So you can call your houses Shri Sundaram Mandiram. And a beautiful house filled with objects of enjoyment obtained through virtuous effort. All these are transitory. Knowing this with the help of the scriptures and discrimination. These are transitory. We have been, from the very first day, we are constantly saying these are transitory, transitory, transitory. So one who knows that through the help of scriptures and discrimination, when they come to know, the wise give up their attachment towards them. So are you wise or fools? But those without discrimination, knowing all these as the source of happiness, only move around in this world of sorrow. Those who are not wise, who are who are ignorant and who do not have discrimination, they feel that these are the sources of happiness. And what happens? They suffer. So what do you want to become? Whether you want to become a wise person or a fool, you have to decide. Wise. And so that was in Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangrahah. I come back to here, where then he says that constantly this man, he is thinking about the house, parents, and the daughters, even the daughters who have gone away after marriage, everything. Always worry what the old parents will do without them, what the wife will do without him, etc. And then he is constantly spending his life like this. Kutumba poshaya viyan nijayuhu na buddhyatirtham bihatam pramattaha sarvatra tapatraya dukkhitatma nirvidyate na swakutumba ramaha. Says, this man who is heedless, he exhausts his whole lifetime for the maintenance of his family, which is true, has to do, fails to perceive that the ultimate purpose of his life is getting defeated. What is the ultimate purpose? That alone is not the life. The life has a higher purpose. So he's not doing anything for that. Though sarvatra tapatraya dukkhitatma, These tapatrayas are there. He's having the effect of those, the adhidaivika, adhibhautika, adhyatmika, definitely. And he's miserable at times, afflicted at times. But his attachment for the family and the joy that it gives to him is so much that he doesn't grow vairagya towards the worldly things. This is what it says. You know this shloka? I think you have read it, some of you. Adityasya gatagatai raharaha samshiyate jivitam. The sun rises and the sun sets. It says the first, it is from Vairagya Shatakam. Adityasya gatagataihi aharaha. That is, every day the sun rises and sets. But we say that one day is over. That is, today is 17th and now it is night, so 17th is over. We never think, samkshiyate jivitam. Do we ever think that one day of our life has gone? We think tomorrow is 18th. Tomorrow when I get up, tomorrow photo will be taken. So we must all wear good dresses. So, like that, we always think like that only. We never associate with this, that one day is over. I have not done anything. I could have at least tried to do some work, or tried to think on Brahman, or tried to see whether I am getting some good qualities. Similarly, in this, he says, Adityasya gatagate raharaha samshiyate jivitam vyaparei brahu karya bharat gurubhihi kalo na vigyayate. We just do not understand how the time is passing by the burden of so much of activity. We are active, so we keep on doing work. That the time is flying away, we are not understanding. We see Janma Jara Dukkha Vipatti Maranam. Constantly we are seeing. See, Pahalgam attack was there. The Air India crash was there. We are seeing this, we are frightened. But it becomes faded in our mind. We do not feel what are you supposed to do? Suppose I get into this kind of a trouble. So trasascha notpadyate doesn't give us any fear, and as if we are intoxicated by delusion for this world. So this poor man which Srimad Bhagavatam is describing, he is also like that. He is doing whatever is going on. He is not doing anything for himself so that he can remain unaffected in the midst of all kind of adversities. So time is up. Tomorrow we'll see more on why the householders are not able to develop vairagya, how much they are bound by their I-ness and mine-ness. And tomorrow we'll see what Bhagavatam has said, how to get out of this I-ness and mine-ness. I think that will be, that is quite, I always like that, because it gives so many direct replies or direct points which every householder should, pursue. And then the life becomes not only very disciplined and pure and very radiant, brilliant, it should be. Okay. Sampurnam Jagadev Nandanavanam Sarvepi Kalpadrumaha Gangam Vari Samasta Vari Nivaha Punya Samasta Kriyaha Vacha Prakrita Samskrita Shruti Shiro Varanasi Medini Sarva Vasthitirasya Vastu Vishaya drishte parabrahmani sarvavasthitirasya vastu vishaya drishte parabrahmani. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru.
Our gratitude to Ma for reminding us that having achieved this human body and what's important is turnam yateta, that is pursue this path immediately when we know that this auspicious path is there. So it's up to us whether we want to cultivate the sadhana Chatushtayam, which is Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadhamadi, Shadka Sampatti and Mumukshutvam. And what's very important is having faith, having Shraddha in the Guru Vakya and our scriptures. Our gratitude to Ma once again. We will be back with Ma's session tomorrow at 8 p.m. Our next live stream would be tomorrow at 9 a.m. with Nutan Swamiji on Vijnana Nauka. Jai Guru.
Diaries. You know, I used to write spiritual diaries on my mind. And some diaries which after coming here, would you like to hear? Yes. So I have got only tomorrow. So what I thought about Vairagya, how I felt that expectation is the source of suffering, whether it any kind of expectation. Okay, I will read them.